So, a lot of people have normal passports, but some people have a diplomatic passport, or in this case, diplomatic passports. So, if you want to know more about diplomatic passports, continue watching and we'll ask my dad what the difference is between normal passports and diplomatic passports.
Why do you have diplomatic passports?
Well, I have to clarify, all these diplomatic passports are, cancelled. So I can no longer use them. But this was from a time I used to work in the Indian government. And you don't have 3 passports, you actually have just one. But I went through 3 booklets of it because of my travel, and I think one of them had a spelling mistake in my name. So they had to cancel it and issue me a new one. And also once I got issued a new one because this one doesn't have a biometric, and then they introduced biometric for diplomatic passports. So we got this done. So I don't use any of them now, but I use them as memory of my past occupation.
What are diplomatic passports?
Diplomatic passports are usually given to diplomats, who are people who work in the external affairs or foreign affairs ministries. They are also given to high-ranking government officials, members of parliament, and some people by choice of the government. Usually what the diplomatic passport does is it gives some amount of protection in the countries that the diplomats are serving in. It also provides some amount of ease of travel because a lot more countries are visa free when you're a diplomatic passport holder. There are separate lanes at airports for diplomats, so you can walk in through with your diplomatic passport. And the countries that require you to have a visa, usually they're much faster, and some of them don't even charge fees to get a visa. So those are broadly the advantages. Yeah.
Is it better to have a I keep forgetting.
Yeah, now.
Is it better to have a
No.
Is it better to have a Yeah, I forgot. Is it better to have a diplomatic passport? Yeah, I did it.
In my opinion, diplomatic passports are only good if you're a diplomat. If you're not a diplomat and you're doing regular job, working outside India, having a diplomatic passport is usually a burden. One, because for simple banking transactions and things like that, there's always a question mark. The processes take long and there's a lot more questions asked if you have a diplomatic passport. Why do you have a diplomatic passport? So in that regard, in my personal opinion, I prefer to have a normal passport. The only place where a diplomatic passport is of any benefit is when you travel, because as I said, a lot of places have visa free or visa no cost or visa on arrival and things when you have a diplomatic passport. Diplomatic passport does not offer too much of a protection. If you're a normal person going about doing a normal job, you really don't need a diplomatic passport. Unless, diplomatic passport is only when if you're doing any official duty for the government. Otherwise, a normal passport is more than enough and more than happy to be with. Cool.